Hello, welcome to Tamil Mom by Banu. I am Banu. Today's vlog is all about Diwali delicacies. So it's 5:50 in the morning. I've started the preparation for Nippat. I've taken rice flour. This is normal rice flour which we had got it in the mission in the normal rice mill. We just made it into a powder with raw rice. I'm just roasting it in a dry kadai. You have to roast it just for it to get heated. And once you draw a line using that, it should fall into a smooth line. Only so much you should roast. The color should be the same. Here I've taken rice for morning breakfast kanji. My suggestion is anytime you prepare a delicacy and you're going to take a lot of time, we need to prepare the breakfast first and then get ready with the breakfast, because we can't go in between and stop this and start that. So according to me, I finish my cooking first and then only start off with other things. So early morning I'm preparing this. I'm planning to prepare murukku also in the same rice flour. So as I told, I have roasted in such a way that if you draw a line, it should fall into a neat line. That's it. It should be hot enough for you to touch. That's the consistency. That's the actual proper temperature it should be. For this, I've taken pottu kadla. This is normal gundu kadla. I had this one at home. So for two glasses of this, in this measurement I've taken, for 2 glasses of rice flour I've taken 3/4 of pottu kadla, and this one part of rice flour I've taken for murukku. I have roasted it and kept it. I'll be preparing that after I finish off the murukku. For murukku I've taken urad dal. It's full urad dal, mulu ulundu they say. This I'm going to lightly roast. This all should not be over roasted. It should just get the heat up. That's it. So I'm going to powder the pottu kadla first. I'm going to sieve it nicely till I get a fine powder out of it. This is the first thing we need to follow. We should get a fine powder, and this I'm not going to dispose. I'm going to use it later. So I will be putting it in one cup and storing it for later use. In the same mixer jar, I will be taking groundnuts which are roasted, dehusked. The husk need to be taken off, and it is into two. I made it into two so that it's easy to grind. So I'm going to coarsely powder it. You can make it into more coarse powder, but sometimes it is tough to make it into a flat roti. So that's the reason I've done a little more of whisking so that it's into a coarse powder form. So this is done. I'm going to keep it aside, and the groundnuts and the pottu kadla is going to be inside. We will be using it for the nippat, and this is roasted urad dal. It's cool enough now. I will be making it into a powder, and this powder needs to be sieved 2-3 times so that there are no fine particles left over in the powder. For the murukku, this is, since the mixie is dry, I'm going to finish off that as well. So as I told you, the pottu kadla maav which was left over after sieving it, I'll be taking it into a separate cup, and into the same sieve I'm going to put the urad dal powder and going to nicely sieve it up without any hard particles. Look at the hard particles. I'm going to add this also along with the pottu kadala maav, so that you be using it for later. You will see that in a few minutes. So this is urad dal powder. I will be sieving it again along with the rice flour for the murukku and keeping it aside. This is the second time I'm sieving it along with the rice flour in that bowl itself, and I'm going to take off the hard particles again and save it along with the pottu kadala and the first type which we sieve, the urad dal mixture. Keep it aside, and we'll start off with the preparation for the nippat. In the same dry jar, I'm going to add the pottu kadala hard particle and the urad dal which we had saved and taken, and along with that I'm going to add green chilies. Sorry, red chilies. I don't know why I keep saying green chilies. These are red chilies. These are Salem chilies and Badigi chilies. We can add it according to our taste. One is for color, the Badigi, and the Salem chilies are for the spiciness. So I've made it into a coarse powder again, like chili flakes. And for that, this is the important item in the nippat. I've taken garlic. The more garlic you put, the better the flavor and taste. So according to my measurement, I've taken maybe 4 or 5 cloves of full garlic. So I took that, and before grinding, I want to finish my work. So I'm going to drink kanji first and then start off with this preparation, because once I start off and keep my hand inside the dough for preparing the nippert, I won't back off. So first I'll fill up my stomach half, then I'll start. It's 6:40 by the time I did all the preparation. Side by side, I'm starting with the kanji. Also, it's a split moong dal and rice kanji. We'll have it along with curds and mango pickle. So I'm going to grind this mixture of red chilies and garlic. Luckily, I told red chilies now. And this is asafoetida, which I had soaked it in water for some time, because ours is not a powdery form. We have it like a lumpy texture. In a lumpy texture, we get it. It's pure asafoetida. So along with that, I'm going to add some more water and grind it into a coarse paste. You can grind it into a very coarse paste, but most of the time it's very tough to make it into a flat roti to be fried in the oil. So now this paste needs to be added along with the rice flour. Along with the rice flour and salt. Salt we should not forget. Usually I tend to forget salt when I'm making delicacies in bulk. I don't know why. So even now I thought I forgot, but I'm adding it now. Adding it, mixing it up along with the pottukadalai maav, along with the groundnuts, and along with the masala. This is chana dal, which I had soaked for just 15 minutes before starting off the preparations. It needs to be soaked just 15 minutes. I'm going to add all these things into this rice flour mixture. Oil, I've kept it to get heated so that we can take 1 or 2 ladles of hot very hot oil and adding into this flour so that it gets mixed for the crispy texture. So after adding all the masala items, I'm waiting for the oil to be heated up. I missed that part where I added the oil, hot oil. So after adding the hot oil, I'm mixing the whole thing along with all the masala. Once the masala is added and the oil is added, you can add sesame seeds. This my husband reminded me and he's adding it. My family loves the taste and flavor of sesame seeds in all the delicacies. So he's going on adding and adding. Well, it doesn't change the texture, but it does gives a nice flavor and taste. Here they're getting ready for the next set. My helping hands getting ready to be pressed and given for me so that I can fry it in oil. After mixing, now I've added the oil actually. Now I added actually hot oil, and I'm mixing it thoroughly so that the hot oil spreads along with all the flour, masala, and everywhere. It should not be left out. And if you hold it in your hand, it should form into a lump, and if you leave it, it should become a powder. This is the actual texture and measurement for all the delicacies which you're frying in oil. According to me, that's what I follow. And once you've mixed it, my suggestion is take little by little and add water. And after you finish, you take the next set, because this dough tends to get very dry. And once it gets dry, it's hard to get it into a flat roti and hard to put it in the oil. It becomes hard. So this is the correct form. It needs to be a little more softer than the chapati dough and a little more harder than the normal roti dough what we prepare. So this is the texture, and after preparing this, I'm going to send it to my production house. That's my husband and daughter, who are starting off with the next set of work. That is, they will press it in this presser, take a little bit of dough and keep it inside the chapati presser. That sheet was the one which I used for my Obattu during Varma Lakshmi festival. Those of you who haven't watched my Tamil Varma Lakshmi festival vlog, I will link it in the iCard above, and you can have the the look of that particular sheet for roti and obat. It's really good. So my daughter is making into neat rounds with a lid of a box which I gave her, and it's good. By the time they finish, the oil is pretty hot enough, and this is a small playar, we say. Before doing any bulk or any frying things, we usually keep a small idol of Ganesha, we say, in the same dough we prepare, so that the things will turn out tasty, good, and there won't be any accidents by mistake, by God's grace. And fortunately there wasn't any, since we keep the Ganesha till we finish off all the delicacies. This is a normal practice we practice every time we make some delicacies in bulk. So we started off with the frying. The oil should be hot enough to the nippets to be rolled, come up on top, and normal enough so that it doesn't get immediately burnt. So it's on medium flame. My karai is a bigger one with a thick base, so I'm keeping it on medium. And now I'll start off with four nippets first. We'll taste it and see the crispiness, the salt, and the spiciness, and start off with the next set. So I finished one set, and next set I'm preparing. This way I'm going to prepare and give it to the next set of production guys, and they will get me the next set. Here things are going on fast. If there are people for us to roll out these rotis, or if they are there to cut it, it's really good because the work tends to get faster because the oil keeps on getting heated, and it's a big kadai where I can use, or at one batch I can finish off 20 nippets at a time. So I almost finished, and the next set is on the way. By 9:40 I finished the whole thing. My husband had to go back to work, so he left. My daughter had to start off for online classes, so she too is upstairs. I managed to stand here and finish. It's not a tough thing. It takes a little bit of time, but it's okay. I finished. Almost it's done. My kids and husband had their breakfast and went. I just had kanji. I don't want to take a break. I'm finishing off the nippets and storing it in this Tupperware box along with the plastic cover. Plastic I don't use, but we have no choice. Otherwise, it tends to get softer. So I'm putting it into a plastic cover and storing it. These sheets are really very useful. You need not have to apply a lot of oil each and every time. So my nippet is done. The last of the last batch is getting done. And along with this, together, I'm going to start off with the Murukku preparation too. Because as I told you, if I take a break, I won't be able to finish off. Once I've started, I want to finish the whole thing and then clean up my kitchen. So I've taken butter. Usually butter, if I take, I'll cut it into small pieces and store it in the freezer for future use instead of keeping it in the same box and it gets messy. So I took one piece for the butter murukku. That's what I'm preparing today, and I cut it up along with the same knife and stored it in this box, and I'm going to keep it in the fridge for any future use. For my masala dosas or any items I prepare in future, I just can take how many ever cubes I want and start preparing. This is the rice flour and the urad dal flour which we had already roasted and powdered. Along with that, I'm going to add butter. Actually, this butter was not enough. I also took a few cubes of butter which I had stored and started rolling the dough. And this dough also is ready, and it needs to be soft enough so that we can squeeze it in the murukku press. So I've taken the same oil in which I had fried the nippets. I took a smaller kadai. I filtered the whole oil into this small kadai, and I'll start off with the murukku because murukku I'm not very sure. This is the very first time I'm starting. I just want it to be a little more easy process. So I'm thinking of doing it a bit slowly with less oil in a smaller kadai. So here the murukku press should be greased. So I'm using ghee and putting one roll of the dough which we had used. I've just taken urad dal and rice flour, salt and butter. That's it. And we prepared this, put a little, there's no need of using oil also, hot oil. So first time I am preparing murukku in this way, and my daughter wanted specifically this star shaped murukku. So I started with one. Luckily it was good. It was too good, in fact. I never expected. Once I started, there was no stopping because I felt Murukku is the easiest delicacy, easiest Palagaram ever I've seen. I've never tried this before. This is the first time I'm trying, and I feel it's faster than puri and vadas. Actually, this Murukku and Nippet was my sister's idea, her measurement, her suggestion, and it's really coming out well. I have to thank her. And I promised my daughter that once a box gets over, I'll be making more and more varieties of murukku. So started off, and after tasting, we're not able to stop it. It's so very soft and crispy and crunchy. It melts in the mouth. It's nei murukku or butter murukku. I've added butter, so it's butter murukku. With no spiciness at all. That's really good. It's 12:15. I soaked some rice for afternoon lunch because work has to keep going on no matter whatever you do. And this is for rasam. I have my previous day's leftover curry. I'm going to use that. So I finished off with the murku totally and everything. Look at my kitchen now. I'm going to start off with cleaning and clearing. So finally cleaning, and I've kept water for the rice to be cooked, and all the vessels are washed, the sheets are ready and kept it. And by the time the water boils for the rice, I'm going to quickly go get freshened and come, otherwise I will not have time even after that. So I finished, got freshened up and came. Now I'm having my kanji along with curd and a little bit of mango toko. My son wanted to taste it because this tends to get digested very fast, so he's also having for the second time. Here I've stored the murukku and nippattu. Murukku has become, the quantity is a bit less, and I'm planning to prepare a little more the next day. Let's see. So it's 1:35. I've finished with the rice, and rasam also is over, so that I can just heat up the previous day's leftover curry and have for lunch while my husband comes. So I'm going to miss out on lunch because I had my breakfast only after 1. Since I had my kanji, I'm not going to have any acidity problems, I guess. Once in a while, we have no choice. We ladies have to get things done. So I'm taking full rest from now till evening. Only then I will be able to function the next day. So this is evening. In the evening, I had planned to wash my copper drum and vessel, which again is a Wednesday schedule, and I don't want to go back or postpone it. So with this, I end this vlog, and if you have liked this video, please do like, share, and post your valuable comments. And also do not forget to subscribe my channel and click on the bell icon next to it. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye for now.